Solving quadratic equations by factoring. Our first problem, we have x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals to 0. So to solve this quadratic equation by factoring, first let us find out if there is a numerical coefficient or number before x. So since there is no number before x, we will base our factoring on the last term, which is positive 8. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to have here two sets. Okay, and then equate this to 0. Now, we will find two numbers, or we will find factors of positive 8. So these two numbers, when they are multiplied by themselves, it will give us a product of positive 8. And then make sure that these two numbers will give us a sum of negative 6x or negative 6. Okay, so let us think of those two numbers. Now, since this is negative, the two numbers must also be negative. So let us put here their sign, negative, negative. Okay, so what are the two numbers that are factors of positive 8? So this will be, let's try 4 or negative 4 and negative 2. Okay, now let us check. Negative 4 multiplied by negative 2 is positive 8. Okay, that is correct. And negative 4 plus negative 2, that is negative 6. So we now have the factors of 8, which is negative 4 and negative 2. So the lacking terms here, we are just going to factor out x squared. So the factors of x squared will only be x and x. So these are the two factors now for our equation. So to find for the values of x, there will be two values. So the first one will be x minus 4 equals to 0, and the second one will be x minus 2 equals to 0. So to find for the value of the first x, we will just transpose or transfer negative 4 to the other side. So if we transpose negative 4 from negative, it will change its sign. So what will be left on the left side will now be positive x. And if we transpose this to the other side, it will change its sign. It will become positive 4. So our x sub 1 here is positive 4. Okay, so our x sub 2, or the second value of x, again, we will transpose negative 2 to the other side. So what will be left on the left side will now be positive x. And then if we transpose negative to the other side, it will change sign. So this will become positive 2. So our x sub 2 is positive 2. So therefore, x sub 1 equals to positive 4 and x sub 2 equals to positive 2. They are our final answers. Our next problem, we will have x squared minus 8x plus 12 equals to 0. So to solve this quadratic equation using factoring, let us first check if there is a numerical coefficient or a number before the first term. So our first term is x squared, so there is no numerical coefficient or no number before x. So this means that we can base our factoring, let us base our factoring on the last term, which is positive 12. So we will have here two sets and equate this to 0. So we will concentrate on the last two numbers here. So the last two numbers will be the factors of positive 12. So the factors, this means that two numbers when multiplied will give us positive 12. And then make sure that their sum will give us negative 8. Okay, so since this is negative 8 and this is positive 12, so we can safely say that the two numbers will be negative, since negative times negative is positive. Okay, now what are the two numbers, or what are the two factors of 12 that will give us the sum of negative 8? Okay, so let us try 6 and 2. So negative 6 multiplied by negative 2 is positive 12. And negative 6 plus negative 2 is negative 8. So therefore, these are the two numbers that we will use. And we will just factor out x squared. So the factors of x squared, we only have here x and x here. So we now have the factors of our quadratic equation. Let us now solve for the values of x. So the first value of x will be x minus 6 equals to 0. So to find for x, we need to transpose or transfer negative 6 to the other side. So transpose this to the other side. So if we transpose negative 6, what will be left on the left side will now only be x. And if we transpose negative to the other side, it will change sign. So this will become positive 6. So our x sub 1 is positive 6. Now for our x sub 2, we have here x minus 2 equals to 0. Again, to find for the value of x, we need to transpose or transfer negative 2 to the other side. So if we transpose negative 2 to the other side, what will be left on the left side will now only be x. And if we transpose negative, this will change sign. This will become positive 2. So our x sub 2 now is positive 2. Therefore, x sub 1 equals to positive 6 and x sub 2 equals to positive 2. They are our final answers. Our next problem, we have positive 12a squared minus 28a minus 49 equals to 0. So to solve this quadratic equation using the factoring, so since our first term here has a numerical coefficient before a squared, so we are going to first base our factoring on the first term. So there will be two sets of factors, and this is equal to 0. So the factor of 12a squared, okay, so let us use the factors. Its factors will be 6a multiplied by 2a. So let us check. 6a multiplied by 2a, that is equal to positive 12a squared. So we can use those factors, okay. And then we are going to factor out our third term. Our third term is negative 49. And then our third term here has a negative sign, and our second term has a negative sign. So what we are going to do with this is that we need to choose two numbers wherein the larger number will be negative, since our second term here is negative. Okay, so let us put here the factors. But the factors of 49, they are only negative 7 and positive 7. Okay, so we are going to put negative 7, okay, on our outside term so that it will be multiplied by 6a. So it will be bigger than the inside terms. So we are going to have here positive 7. So positive 7 multiplied by negative 7 is negative 49. And then let us check if the sum of the outside terms and the inside terms is equal to negative 28a. Okay, so let's get their sum. We have here negative 7 multiplied by positive 6a. This will be equal to negative 42a. And then positive 2a times positive 7, this will be positive 14a. So this will be equal to negative 42a plus positive 14a. This is negative 28a. So therefore, our two factors here are correct since negative 28a is equal to our second term. Okay, so we can erase this one. Okay, since these two factors now are correct, we can now proceed to solving the values of a. Okay, let's erase this first. Now, to solve for the value of a, we have here 6a plus 7 equals to 0, and we have here 2a minus 7 equals to 0. So to solve for a, we need to transpose positive 7 to the other side. So positive 7, transpose that to the other side. So transposing, what will be left on the left side will be positive 6a. And if we transpose positive, it will change sign. This will become negative 7. So to solve for a, we need to cancel out 6. So divide both sides of the equation by 6. So we have here 6 divided by 6. Cancel that out. That is equal to 1. And 1 multiplied by a, this is equal to a. And negative 7 over 6. So this is our a sub 1. And this is equal to negative 1 and 1 over 6. Okay, so let us now solve for a sub 2. So to solve for a sub 2, first we need to transpose negative 7 to the other side. So if we transpose, what will be left on the left side will be positive 2a. Excuse. So we have here positive 2a. If we transpose this, this will become positive 7. So to solve for the value of a, we need to divide both sides of the equation by 2. So we have here 2 divided by 2. This is equal to 1. Okay. So 1 multiplied by a, this will give us positive a. And positive 7 over 2, or this is equal to 3 and 1 over 2. So this is our a sub 2. So this now are our final answers. Our next problem, we have positive 64x squared minus 56x plus 10 equals to 0. Looking at the equation, we can still simplify this since 2 is common among the three terms. So we are going to divide both sides of the equation by 2. So 64x squared divided by 2, this will give us positive 32x squared, and negative 56x divided by 2, this will give us negative 28x, and then positive 10 divided by 2, this will give us positive 5 equals to 0. Okay, so this is now our quadratic equation. Now, since we have here a numerical value before x squared, so we are going to factor out first the first term. Okay, so this will be equal to 0. Now, The factors. What will be the factors of 32x squared? Okay, let us use 8x and 4x. Okay, so we will have here 8x, and this will be multiplied by 4x. Okay, so 8 times 4 is 32. And then for our third term is positive 5. Now, our third term is positive, and our second term is negative. So it is safe to say that our factors here must be both negative. Okay, since negative multiplied by negative, that is positive. Okay, and the factors of positive 5 will be negative 5 and negative 1. Let us check if our factors are correct. Okay, so we are going to get the product of the outside terms. 8x multiplied by negative 1, this will be negative 8x. And then 4x multiplied by negative 5, that is negative 20x. Now, negative 8x minus 20x is negative 28x. Therefore, this is the same as our second term, so these factors are correct. They are the ones that we are going to use. So we can now erase this. Okay, so let us now solve for the value of x. So we have here 8x minus 5 equals to 0. So to solve for the value of x, first we need to transpose negative 5 to the other side. Okay, so transpose that. What will be left on the left side will only be positive 8x. And if we transpose negative, this will change sign. This will become positive 5. To solve for the value of x, we need to cancel out 8. So divide both sides of the equation by 8. Now, 8 divided by 8, this will be equal to 1. And 1 multiplied by x, this is equal to positive x. And 5 over 8. So we cannot simplify this anymore. So this is our x sub 1. To solve for our x sub 2, we have here 4x minus 1 equals to 0. So to solve for x, we need to transpose negative 1 to the other side. Okay, so transpose that to the other side. So what will be left on the left side will only be positive 4x. And if we transpose negative 1, this will change sign. This will become positive 1. And to solve for x, we need to cancel out 4. So to cancel 4, divide both sides of the equation by 4. Now, 4 divided by 4, this will be equal to 1. We can cancel this out. That is equal to 1. So 1 multiplied by x, this is equal to x. And 1 over 4. So this will be x sub 2. So our final answer is x sub 1 equals to 5 over 8 and x sub 2 equals to 1 over 4. Our next problem, we have 4 multiplied by the quantity of 3x squared plus 2 equals to positive 35x. Okay. So first, we are going to perform the operation. So 4 multiplied by 3x squared, so this will be 12x squared, and 4 multiplied by positive 2, this will be positive 8 equals to 35x. Okay. Now, we need to transpose positive 35x to the left side so that we will be of the form quadratic equation. Okay, so transposing, we will have here 12x squared, and if we transpose positive 35, it will change its sign. This will become negative 35x plus 8 equals to 0. Okay, So we cannot simplify this anymore, and there is a numerical coefficient on our first term, so we are going to start our factoring with our first term. Okay, so by trial and error, the factors of 12x squared that we are going to use will be 4x and positive 3x. Okay, and then let us factor out positive 8. So positive 8. Now, since this is positive and this is negative, we can say that the factors of positive 8 will be negative and negative. And again, by trial and error, we will use negative 1 and negative 8. Let us check if our factors are correct. So we will multiply all the outside terms. Negative 8 multiplied by 4x, negative 32x. And positive 3x multiplied by negative 1. These are the inside terms. This is negative 3x. So negative 32x minus 3x, negative 35x. Okay, so negative 35x is equal to our second term, which is also negative 35x. So we can say that these are our correct factors. Okay, we can erase this one, and we can now proceed to finding the values of x. Okay, let's erase this first. So our first factor, we have 4x minus 1 equals to 0. And our second factors, we have 3x minus 8 equals to 0. Now, to solve for the value of x, first we need to transpose negative 1 to the other side. So transpose that to the other side. Now, what will be left on the left side will only be 4x. And if we transpose negative 1, this will change sign. This will become positive 2. To find for the value of x, we need to cancel out 4. So to cancel 4, divide both sides of the equation by 4. So 4 divided by 4, this will be equal to 1. And 1 multiplied by x, that is equal to x. And we can simplify this. This will be 1 over 2. So our x sub 2 is equal to 1/2. Now to find 4, or rather this is not x sub 2, but this is x sub 1. So to find for x sub 2, first we need to transpose negative 8 to the other side. Okay. So after transposing, what will be left on the left side will now be 3x. If we transpose negative to the other side, it will change sign. It will become positive. To find for x, we need to cancel out 3. So 3x divided by 3 and 8 divided by 3. And then we can cancel out 3 divided by 3. This is positive 1. And 1 multiplied by x, this is equal to x. And we can change this to mixed fractions. So this will be 2 and 2 over 3. This is our x sub 2. So therefore, x sub 1 equals to 1/2. And x sub 2 equals to 2 and 2/3. They are our final answers.